Okay, so I asked you, why does the circuit not appear to work correctly? In this particular circuit, when we close the switches, when we close both switches, the circuit is actually very stable, because in effect the two switches closed are connecting the VCC supply to pins 1 and 2, so the two input pins of the AND gate, and therefore the output pin, the green line in this case, is perfectly stable, so there's no problem. The problem arises when we disconnect the two inputs. While it might look like the two inputs are connected to ground, they're not. They're actually floating in the air. And with TTL logic, this is often read as a 1. It may sometimes read a value of 0 and be unstable when because it picks up stray noise, just like an antenna. But the point is, it's a poorly designed circuit. You can see there it's flickering, even though there's no real change taking place in the circuit. And as you know, with an AND gate, it should only be on if the two inputs to the AND gate are set to high. So one way we can fix this, and I'll show you the diagram, is we can connect in two resistors. So we're going to connect a resistor to the other side of the AND gate, to the switch, and we're going to connect it to ground. Now this isn't a perfect solution, but we'll do this first of all and see what happens. So I'm going to connect this one in here, and on this pin here, on the blue pin, we also connect it to ground. So that's for the first switch. So now the two switches, one side of the switch is connected to VCC, and the other side is connected to the input pin and also to ground, and you can see that in the diagram. Now if we look at our circuit, it looks like this, and we'll see that, well, first of all, the LED is not lighting. I'm pressing the first switch and there's no light coming on, and I'm also pressing the second switch and there's no light coming on. So now the test, if I press the two switches together, you can see our LED comes on perfectly. I let go, press again, coming on and off exactly as we would expect. So these two resistors mean that when the switches are open, the inputs pins 1 and 2, the two inputs to the AND gate, are tied to ground, and therefore the circuit will work perfectly. Now there is an alternative way to do this as well. In this particular configuration, I'm using pull-up configuration, where I'm using two 10K resistors to pull up. These are connected to plus 5 volts, and they pull up the two input pins to 5 volts. And now the switches in this case connect the inputs to ground. The effect on the circuit is that the LED is lit now when we don't have the buttons pressed, so when the switches are open, but if we close either switch, the LED goes off. Or if we press the two switches together, the LED goes off. So in this case, if we look at our inputs are in effect the opposite way around. So when the button is not pressed, it's a logical 1, and when the button is pressed, it's a logical 0. The configuration, the working of the AND gate has stayed exactly the same.